Hi everyone!
Welcome to Chubby Chats.
I'm Pamela.
And I'm Astrid, and the dogs are barking like a lot.
Yeah.
So I hope it's not interfering with the audio too much. But today we're going to talk about my
pre-Mexican GP experience.
Which is mostly me.
I just realized my hair looks super black on camera. And like I wanted it to look a bit brown with my hair dye, which is also
it's the freaking iPhone. This is an old iPhone too. Don't know what you're expecting. It ain't a Canon.
Okay.
The budget's really low.
We're in a tight budget.
And sorry for the ones on Spotify because we're filming this. If you want to watch it, it's on YouTube. Which, to be honest, you're fine on Spotify because the quality isn't amazing.
We could always film on your camera, but you never offer it.
I could offer it, but it's not charged, so you have to like pre-tell me.
Okay.
Because normally when we film podcasts, it's just like, do you want to film a podcast today? Then we do it. So my camera's never prepared.
Okay, now start charging it daily because we're gonna try to film one podcast a day.
No.
No.
I'm not charging it daily.
No. Why?
Because no.
Why?
Because no, I have like a fear that the freaking battery is gonna scratch or something.
No, I'm just mean like wake up.
I'm just meme.
I just mean wake up and put it to charge while you get ready, and then when you go down, just uncharge it, unplug it.
I'm telling you, these are cuckoo hours.
By the way, we're filming this right after the last podcast, so
because you couldn't tell by my outfit and by the literal same lighting.
I changed because I wanted to look like
this is different apart from the fact that she's like trying to tell you. She's like telling you that it's the same. Oh my god, I can't stop.
Why is my hand so white?
It's a light. Anyways, yeah. So we're talking about the pre-Mexican GP experience that I had. And basically I wanted to title this Perspectives, but we're not titling it that. It's just what I felt in the moment, in this period of my life. And I'll tell you why.
Because and I'll tell you why. Yeah, okay.
Because crackhead hours, that's what.
Okay.
Crackhead hours. Okay, sorry. I'm telling you, we're getting tired. Sorry, guys. Basically, like 3 days before this happened, we had to take a trip to Mexico City for Pamela's university. And
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, in that trip, we ended up going to a mall that we discovered.
That sounds so weird. Okay, let me just explain in preface.
No, people they really don't need to know. It doesn't sound weird for us to take a trip to Pamela's university is based in Mexico City, and we had to do some paperwork. That's it.
There you go.
And so we went to Mexico City for that. And then after that, we went for lunch at a mall. This mall, like, we discovered recently as well this year. But, like, it has this big screen.
Oh, yeah.
And in the screen, like, I was, like, anxious because I wanted to watch, it was FP3. And I wanted to watch F1 FP3.
But not from RGP, from the one before.
I don't know which one it was. But, yeah. So we basically went to this mall, and I was like, oh, I hope they're playing it at this big screen in the lunch court. And we went, and they were miraculous, beautiful. I was living the moment. Mm-hmm. But I was like super excited that I was watching FP3 in this big screen. I was like basically commenting like to them. I was like, it's gonna be so cool the day of the Mexican GP because it's probably gonna fill up so much here, and it's just gonna be really cool. Mm-hmm. And we had lunch, watching FP3, the whole family. I was literally having the best time of my life. And then I remember when, like, we came into the mall, I looked, like, to the side, and there was this, like, little booth or, like, stand that had, like, an F1 car on it. And I was like, I definitely want to check that out, like, later. And basically, like, we spent this day at the mall, blah, blah. Pamela had to go to the bathroom. It was just literally right before we left. We were gonna leave, like, right after Pamela came out of the bathroom. And I was like, I'm not gonna check it out, but, like, I don't know why. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go. And so I went, like, my parents were waiting for my sister, and I went alone to check it out. And as I approached, I'm like, whoa, this booth has, like, official, like, Ferrari, Red Bull merch. Like, basically, I think, not all teams, but it did have, like, the main themes were, like, Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull.
AlphaTauri.
Yeah. And then, like, I look past it, and I see this, like, Red Bull moving truck, basically.
Situation.
And it had, I approached closer, and they had a pit stop challenge. And I was like, I like call my mom, and then she's like, what? And I'm like, Mom, you have to get over here right now because there's a pit stop challenge, and I've always wanted to try one, and I've always wanted to try one. Like, I didn't actually try it, but like I've always wanted to see one because like I saw it on TikTok and like at GPs, and I was like, I always wanted to like see one in person, a pit stop challenge, you know. And so like my dad and we like went up to the thing. My dad tried the pit stop thing. Honestly, I thought I was gonna help him, but he said, I'm gonna do it on my own. And so he did the pit stop challenge. He then tried it, like the simulator. I didn't want to try it because first of all, I don't know how to drive. No, it's not. No, like we didn't pay anything for it. It was free.
No, yeah, I know, but like
no, it wasn't that I was gonna break it or anything. It's just like I don't know how to drive. I was just gonna make a fool of myself. Then I saw my dad do it, and I was like, wow, I wouldn't have, you know. I think I would have been a little better than you at that, just because like my dad didn't even know about like the gears and stuff.
Yeah, well, obviously because the fact is like in a normal car the gears are like down here, like on, well, it depends on what side of the world you're driving, but like somewhere on your sides. And in an F1 car, like they're all on the steering wheel, and it's insane because like I feel like you would have to have so much dexterity and prior knowledge of like how all of them
work.
Like
my dad, he literally maybe 2 seconds into the race, like the race started, and he had crashed into the wall, and then he's like, how do I reverse, and it was like,
you don't.
He just didn't switch gears ever. And so his attempt at the simulator was probably 10 seconds, and then that was it. But like I was over the moon. I was like, holy crap, I've just tried a pit stop challenge. I posted like pictures on Instagram, and I was like, oh my god, I literally like captioned it, getting closer to the real deal or something like that. And then to me, that's why I was like, the perspective of things, like 3 days later, like to me that was the highlight. I was like, it doesn't get better than this.
Yeah.
3 days later, like way before like getting closer to the Mexican GP, like I had jokingly like mentioned to my family that I wanted to like go and stay with my grandparents who live in Mexico City for like a couple of days before the Mexican GP, in case like any teams decided to do any like, because sometimes they do like pop-up sort events, of like things,
yeah,
or you just like see them on Instagram and know where they're filming or something like that. And I was like, I want to be there just in case, because you know I idolize them. So I was like, don't know, like even a day before, like I told my mom like, yeah, I want to go. So even like a day before, I was still hesitant. I was still like, should I, like, is it gonna be worth the thing? And I feel like past me, like a me of a year ago would have been like, no, I'm not gonna go, like what's the point? But I was like, just go. And so I went on a Wednesday morning. I went on a Wednesday morning. Yeah, because we went to the thing on Saturday, your thing on Saturday, and it was only a couple of days later, and it happened on Wednesday. And I went on a Wednesday morning, the Wednesday of the week of the GP. I went, so it would have been the 26th of October. Big brain.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about it. I went to Mexico City to stay with my grandparents, and my plan was like to like possibly, I was like, the best possibility of you to even get close to a driver is gonna be on Thursday when they go for their like press things into the like the circuit, you know. And so I was like, to my mindset, I was like, yeah, possibly I'll be here and I'll see stuff on their stories, but realistically the closest I'll get will be like going really early to the circuit, and then possibly like seeing
also
them
because
from
that's just
there.
Generally our luck. Like it's always been
like we've never had luck with celebrities, but you know.
And the thing is, when we mean like, we don't mean that we actively go searching for them. It's just like literally we go to some place somewhere, and like an hour later,
not even an hour, like a couple minutes later, they're there.
Yeah, like they post about being there, and we're like, frick.
And that's like, happened way too many times for us. So like we generally don't have like luck with it at all. But basically, like, I arrived on Wednesday, and, like, I even made a TikTok about this prior to, where I was, like, at this point, like, I'm not expecting, like, sitting down with a driver, you know? Like, even seeing them from afar, like, that's basically my aim, you know? Even if it's, like, miles away. But, like, yeah, I got there on Wednesday morning. We arrived on the Wednesday, like, my mom went to drop me off, and then my grandparents picked me up. My mom got back here to like where we live, and my grandparents took me to their beautiful home. And literally I sat down, and I received like something on Instagram from my dad, And I like check it out, and he's like, Chico's gonna give a press conference at this place in Mexico City, and there's fans waiting for him outside. Then I look at my clock. The thing started at 9. The press conference started at 9, and it was maybe 9:10, 9:20 when I looked at the post, and I was like, okay, now I'm trying to figure out where this is, because it didn't say the location. It just said like that he was giving a press conference, you know, and it was to the public. It was like anyone could go. So there was obviously going to be a lot of people there. And so I like tell my grandparents, and they're like, do you know where this is? Blah, blah, blah. And then like I asked my dad, do you know where it is? And he's like, it's here, because it was like literally it's right beside where he works.
Yeah.
If he goes to Mexico City. But yeah, it's like right beside it. And so I like tell my grandma, and she was like, do you want to go? Like, we can go now. And I was like, yeah, let's go. And so I remember literally just rushing, because I had like my bags. I rushed. I grabbed my Chico hat. Like, I have 2, and I grabbed one of them. And I grabbed a pen and a notebook, you know, just in case I got the possibility of him like signing it. And then I was like, let's go. And so we went, and we knew it was a stretch, because Mexico City traffic is
horrible.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the place was maybe 30-40 minutes away, but in Mexico traffic you can make up to 3 hours, you know,
yeah.
in the traffic. So I was like, it's a stretch if we even get there. But, you know, because it just started a couple minutes ago,
maybe we can
Faith, you know, I was like, Faith, that's that I'll get there even for the last 5 minutes of it. And so we drove, like literally I could see in my eyes as my possibilities and hopes were dying, because we took so long to get there. I think we literally took maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to get like there from 9. We got there at 11. Yeah, we literally got there at 11. I ran out, like my grandma was like, just go, run, you know, because we parked like at a mall in front of where he was giving the press conference. And she was like, run, just run. And I was like, okay, because I didn't want to leave my grandparents, you know. But my grandma was like, run. And I was like, okay. So I was like running. Because even when we were getting there, like, I could see people with Red Bull hats and Red Bull merch, like, walking away.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't know what this means. And so, like, I ran to, we get there, and they're packing up Chico's car. And they're, like, literally we're watching as they're, like, putting it in the truck and then closing it up. And they're, like, taking down the stuff from the press conference. And so my heart was, like, shattering. And I was like, oh, my God, we're too late, you know? My grandma still, like, me and my grandma got pictures of, like, basically the back of his car getting into the truck. And then, like, I was like, oh, this is it, you know? Like, there was his posters and his pictures, like, everywhere. And I go and talk to, like, with my grandma to some of the security guards that were around. She was like, let's just ask them. We asked one of them, and he was like, it's like he purposely wanted to make people feel bad. I was like, this guy, I hope you have a great day or whatever, because maybe you're fed up of all the Red Bull fans. But, like, we asked him, and he was like, no, yeah, like, he's gone for sure. Like, he's gone. And he was actually here, like, an hour after the press conference stopped. So, like, but, like, yeah, he's gone. And, like, I was like, wow, okay. So you're basically telling me, like, no possibility.
Yeah.
And we walked to, like, the next security guard. I don't know why we decided to ask a second security guard, but we did. Like, if he's for sure gone. And he was like, he was so sweet, and I will forever love him. But, like, he was like, yeah, he's gone, but, like, he's actually just right there. And, like, he points at the museum, like, right behind us, basically, which is the Somaya Museum in Mexico. And so, like,
which is one of the nicest museums here. Like, we generally have nice things, but Carlos Lim, which is every other year the richest man on earth.
No, he's one of the richest people.
Oh, okay. Well, I remember at one point he was like up there, and I was like, okay. But anyway, like he like funds that, so it's like always.
It's his museum.
Yeah, it's made after his wife, late wife, sorry, and so like it's always like nice. It's always nice.
Yeah, and so like he was like he's actually like right there, but he's gonna be giving like a private conference.
Yeah.
In there, and then he was like, oh, and actually like Max Verstappen's actually coming as well at 3:00. And then I was like, huh? And he was like, yeah, but like he nicely said like, but it's a private event, so like they're not selling tickets, and it's not like something you can get in. It's like literally like a press event. And he's like, but he's gonna be there, and he was like, if you want to try your luck at waiting out there, then, you know, that's your best shot, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. But also, like, in my mind constantly during this day was like, I'm not alone, because if I was alone or with my mom or with my sister, then, you know, there's no hesitation, like, we're gonna wait as long as it takes. But I was with my grandparents, elderly people, and so I was like, you know, I'm not gonna make
also my grandma hates just like snacks.
No, my grandma has diabetes and low blood pressure, and my grandpa's also like sick, you know, and so it's like, I'm not gonna make them like wait there, or like they're doing me this favor, but I'm not gonna use it. And so that was on my mind constantly. But like, my grandma was like, so what do you want to do? She was like, honestly, very like, we're getting you something. We're getting you something. And so like, she was like, so do you want to wait, or what do you want to do, blah blah blah. And so basically, long story short, she's like, let's go inside the Sewing Museum, see what's up. Like, we thought, because they told us like they weren't letting anyone in, we thought like, they're not gonna let us into the museum, but let's go. And so we went into the museum.
By the way, did you guys have to pay like the commission?
No, it was free. Like, I think it's free in general.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think it's like one of those like,
what they need the money for. Anyways.
Yeah. No, because his wife was like a very big advocate of art. No.
Well, we walked in, and I thought, genuinely, apart from the fact that I was like, maybe they're not letting people in because there's going to be this event.
Yeah.
I was wearing my Red Bull jacket, which is big. Like, I couldn't put it, like, away. Like, I was holding it in my arms.
It was obvious she was there for one thing.
Yeah, like, I had my Red Bull jacket and my hat.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I was like, if they're not going to let me in because of the event, they're not going to let me in, because I literally look like I'm here looking for Max and Chico. And so, they don't say anything. We walk in. And then, like, I look to my right, and there's this, like, big poster that says, Max and Chico meet the fans, and it has got Chico on one side and Max on the other. And I was like, this is for real. Like, this is actually happening. So then that's when I decided, I'm not getting out of here. Like, I'm not leaving this facility, because what if they close the doors and I can't get back in? Like, this is my best shot at doing this. There was no one when I arrived. Absolutely no one. And during the whole time I waited, probably maybe 5-6 people walked in and out, like, trying to get their shot in there, you know. We asked several times if we could buy, like, tickets.
Hours there.
We tried our best to, like, get our tickets. We asked several people, like, if there was any way to get in.
She phoned home over here, and, like, we all tried to look at stuff, but, like, the only thing we had all found was just, like, this one link saying how
some fans, I think it was, like, 20 or not even, like, 15, 10 fans.
Like, but days before there had been, like, this Telcel competition, which is, like, the biggest
Infinito.
Provider, like, phone provider here in Mexico, and it's Carlos Slim's, like, a provider, and, like, if you had a number with them, like, your number was raffled in.
In the end, it wasn't with that, like, it was just, like, you could enter the competition, but the competition was, like, they asked you, I think, like, 20 questions, and you had to get them all right. And if you had Infinito Telcel, they would immediately give you 5 questions right, I think it was. And so, like, I think it was, like, 15 fans who had won, basically, like, the tickets or admissions to get into this press event. And then the rest of it was, like, people who they'd invited, and press people, like, literally press people. And so, like, I was standing there from 11 that we arrived, and we walked in, to, I think it was, I got in at, like, 6 or something like that. So I was literally standing, because not once did I sit down. I didn't want to miss one single chance of, like, something happening because of our luck. I was standing there the whole time, did not eat once. Yeah. But it wasn't even like I didn't eat since the morning that we left here, which was at, like, 6:30 in the morning. Did not eat once, wasn't even hungry, because literally somebody would move and my stomach would churn of nerves. And, like, nearing, like, the time of when the event was going to start, it started getting, like, more crowded, and then that's when I was like, okay, they're gonna kick us out. Like, this is a nice museum, and we're all just
this is a nice
standing here waiting for something to happen. The mariachis that were gonna play at this place, like, walked in. They were like, we were just seeing everything happen. Like, I was seeing all these people, like, come into the thing.
Like, the stuff getting set up, basically.
Yeah. And, like, I was definitely, like, the person who was there the whole time. Because I'm not even kidding. Like, there was no one else who had waited.
You should have filmed the whole thing. That would have been, like, a great vlog.
But I was also, like, my hopes were dying down, because then I eventually, like, realized, like, Chico's not going to come in through the main entrance. He's come back from the back. Yeah. As well as Max. And I was like, so if there's literally the only possibility of me getting in is through this front entrance, and if a miracle, literally. Yeah. And so I was just, like, standing there, and then when my hopes elevated again was, well, I met a girl there called Mad, and then we sort of like joined up, and you know, we were
like
both
they ganged up into wanting to get inside.
Like as soon as we met, like we both like sort of made a pact, and we're like, we're getting in there. Don't
together.
know how.
Yeah.
We don't know how. We don't know at what point, but we are getting in there. And I'd also like envisioned myself like looking at this thing for hours. Maybe it was like just literally delusion, but I was like, I see myself walking in through those doors at some point.
That's so good. But by the way, a complete side note, like because of my whole anxiety that I'm living right now, like I've been having a really hard moment of like trying to actually get my thoughts straight and what is real and what is not. And then like 2 days ago, Jesus was like super kind and he like very lovingly told me like, whatever you think manifests, and whether that's good or bad. And like a lot of people in general like use that for wrong, like to get their own will, but like, and then like Jesus just reminded me like, if you're a good person and you chase after me, like and you want good things, like I'll give them to you, because that's like what I like doing, but you have to be like a good person. And like I think at that moment you were just manifesting it.
But that was literally like from the time I decided I was gonna go to Mexico City, like to me I was also always very optimistic in that, and I feel like because I was always like realistic in the sense of like what are the actual possibilities of me doing this. But like from the moment I decided to go to Mexico City, like I was like I don't know what it is, but something's gonna happen for you, like, and that's for sure. I was like very in tune with the fact that like you're gonna get something from going, so like whatever it is, something's gonna happen. And
I wonder
so,
if
like,
you would be good at reading cards.
No. I don't like reading.
It's not like that.
But like, yeah, like as soon as like I being there for hours, I was like, I don't know how, but I literally see myself walking through those doors. It's gonna happen. I don't know how, but it's gonna happen for you. But yeah, like the moment like I joined up with this girl, like she was also like, we're gonna get there. We talked to like the main organizer that was like organizing this thing. I literally went up to him and we're like, is there any possibility we can get in? Like if you have any like spare seats, can you please let us in? And he was like, it's completely saturated, like there's no more space, but like if there was, like I very gladly like let you guys in and blah blah blah. Honestly, like don't want to get much into detail, but the security, the people working there were very rude, very dismissive of people, incredibly condescending. Like I understand doing your job and keeping people safe, and that they're the security, but I feel like for example, the security guard outside who was really kind, and I feel like you can also tell like when a fan is there, because they genuinely like, that's what my grandma was saying. My grandma does not know about F1. She does not know about, like, obviously she knows who Chico is, but like not into detail either. But she literally mentioned so many times, and I'm like, you can see the passion and the love and how much these people like idolize like these guys, and like you could tell people that went that literally had no idea what the hell they were doing there, because literally so many people walked up to me and they were like, what are you guys waiting for, like what's happening here? And then it was like, F1 drivers and here, people, blah, blah, blah. And then they like sort of stuck around for a bit, and then they just sort of left, you know. And so
no, they just put it back. Oh my god,
security alarm going off.
It's because like honestly 3 days ago, this Monday this week, it went off, and like it was insane. But anyway.
And then okay, so then we like this girl and I, we sort of like stuck together, but then like my hopes sort of went up again when I saw, like my eyes like sparkled and I froze, because the people from the Red Bull team that I recognize from like all the Red Bull content, Chico's press, what do you call him? Press
manager? No.
Assistant? Press
person?
Yeah, well, his press person. I don't know why it escaped my mind right now. Alice Hedworth. She like walked in with like a bunch of the people from the Red Bull team that I recognized from like seeing them on TV basically. And I was like, I froze. Like at the moment I was like, I don't know if it was the fact that I was literally waiting there for so many hours, dehydrated and not eating, but I was like I literally just like watched them, like my eyes were sparkling as they walked in front of me, and I was like, oh my god. And then Alice Hedworth literally stood in front of me, and I was like literally like right here, and I was like, I can't. And then like I pulled my phone and I took a picture of their backs.
Yes, she did. To put it up here
of their backs, but I was like, oh my god, like they're right in front of me right now. Like that's when I was like, okay, I don't know, like my hopes were renewed again. But then when I was like, okay, there was like definitely a time where I was like, this is not happening, because like I had imagined and thought and feared at some point they were like, everyone who doesn't have entrances to the event
get out,
has to go.
Yeah,
like they have to go. And so the security started sort of like
filtering people in
outside. Yeah. They were like, you have to go. And again, like I would have stayed if I was alone, like I would have not given up. But the fact that like I was with my grandparents and these people had been rude the whole day.
Yeah.
Like I was genuinely scared that they were gonna start
kicking
like
people out.
Not like kicking, but like but like grabbing people, or like actually like being aggressive. And like,
which is a very normal thing here in Mexico, unfortunately.
Yeah, like I was like, I feared that they were gonna start being aggressive, and
handsy.
my grandparents were there, so like that's what I was scared. And I was like, I've got to think about them, because it's not just me. And so I was like, okay, let's go. And so I told my grandpa, let's go. And then I went to fetch my grandma, because she'd gone to sit somewhere else. And I was like, let's go. They're kicking people out, and I don't want them to get aggressive. Like, I didn't tell them, like, don't want them to get aggressive. My grandma was like, okay. My grandpa literally escapes me. I don't know where he went. But by the time I turned around, he was in front of the damn, he was talking to the main organizer again. And then I go fetch him. And my grandma's gone too. Like, my grandma's gone again to like the ticket salespersons, the ones that were like scanning the tickets, to ask again if there was more possibilities of like us getting in. And then the woman finally says, like, one woman had literally walked up to me and the girl that I met, and she was starting saying, there's zero possibility of you guys getting in. Like, there's just no way. Like, I don't even know who these guys are, but I just came to work here. That woman,
honestly, I hope she like died on her own. Like, no, like she was so mean to you guys.
No, she wasn't mean. Honestly, she wasn't mean, but like I think that's what they tell them. And the fact that like she was there, and she stared at everyone like being there for hours. And so she was like, there's no way. She was honest in the back. She was like, I have no idea who these guys are, but like we just got hired to work here. They're not selling tickets. Like you're not getting in. But then like my grandma comes back, and she's like, so the lady just said like you can stand to the side, and then to see if like they have any spare like places in the end. And so then we go line up again. My grandma's terribly worried for me, because I have not eaten and drunk anything the whole day. And so she goes to like the little shop that they have there, and she buys me some like crisps, a bag of crisps, and then an electrolyte. And she's like, please just drink this, because I wasn't hungry, guys, but she was like, just drink this because you haven't eaten at all. I grab the electrolyte. I unscrew the cap. Sorry, I'm going into detail, but you'll know why. I unscrew the cap, and I literally take one sip, and I looked like in my peripheral, I see this woman come out with a handful of bands. Like, you needed these like bands to get inside. A handful of bands, and then she's like, okay, who wants to get in? I shove the damn electrolyte back into my grandma's hands, and then like I run. I have no idea how, guys, because I was literally all the way at the back. Like, there's people there. I was all the way at the back, and I don't know how, because this is proper Jesus, because I try to think now, but I'm like, I don't know how.
Yeah.
I was in front of all these people. I found my way in front of all these people, and in front of this lady holding the bands. But I've lost my F1 bestie, Mar. I've lost her. I can hear her calling my name, but through the amount of people that were there, like, there was maybe possibly 40 plus people there that were now basically surrounding me, because I was in front of this lady. But like she was like sort of looking around. She's like, you have to stop shoving and pushing. If you're screaming, you're not gonna get in, because like there's not enough places for all of you guys, but like only if you can come in. And then so I'm like listening to her at the same time, trying to look for Mar, the girl. And she's like, okay, so let's see who we're gonna let in. She lets like 4 people behind me inside. They like get through, and then like at the moment that they're getting through, I see Mar, and she's like at the side, and I grab her and I yank her towards me, like not aggressively, but I did like pull her towards me, and then now we're both standing in front of them, and then they started picking people who had like hats that had like the Infinitum Telcel logo on them, because this event is Infinitum Telcel, and so they were letting those people in, and I was like doing everything, guys, to like get this woman's attention and realizing like, please let me in. And like I was like, look at my tattoo, I had F1 nails on it. I was like, look at my wallpaper, look at this, blah blah blah. And then like the girl, the F1 bestie that I'd met there, she was like, I have my Mexican GP tickets, because fact that I forgot to mention, no, it was that day.
Oh, okay.
She had won tickets to the GP, and she had gone to pick them up, and that's how she wound up like
over there,
because she like saw the commotion and she came. And So like she had her tickets with her. Like her ticket is just one ticket. But like she
physical.
had her ticket with her.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I have my GP ticket with me. And then like I saw like the woman, she's like piqued interest to the fact that like she had her ticket with her. So and my all startling, I tried to text my mom, like, send me a picture of the tickets. But I was like, no, the tickets are with me, so she can't send me a picture of the tickets. I was like, maybe send me a screenshot. So I'm like, yeah, I have some tickets too, but I don't have them with me. But like, then she asked her, like, who are you here with? How many people are you here with? And she's like, I'm just with her. And they were like, okay, you can come in. And I was like, at that point, I was like,
what?
It can't be that easy. Like this, hello? Like, is this real life right now? And so she was like, get in. And so they open the door, they open the sort of thing for us, they let us in. We go and get our bands put, and then they give us like these tickets. What do you call them? Rifa. What do you call them?
Raffle tickets.
These raffle tickets. And then I turn, my grandma's like all like, oh my god, you did it. She's still holding my bag because she had held it for when I was like drinking and stuff. And so she gives me back my bag because I have like my external batteries and everything in there. And she's like, oh my god. She's like all excited. She's like, go. Like, I can see the joy in my grandma and grandpa's eyes at the fact that like I am about to walk into this event. And then there it is, the moment that I'd been envisioning since 11 o'clock in the morning, walking through those doors. Like, I literally, the moment I was going through, I was like, whoa. Like, hello?
Yeah.
I manifested this. And I was like, it's literally happening right now. I was in the verge of tears because I was like, there's literally no way that this is real life right now. The thing that I found like funny / like, okay, like I walked in and a lady like that she had seen me, I had seen her the whole day. She had seen me stand there. She like tried to stop me and she's like, what the fuck? I generally think she like thought like, how the hell did you get
break in?
Like, how the hell are you in here right now?
Did she skip like all the security to get in here?
She tried, like, how did you get in here? Like, and then I showed her the band and she was like, okay. Like, very hesitantly, she was like, okay. And then she, like, lets us in. Guys, the mariachis were still playing. But the first thing I took notice of was that, like, well, there were maybe, like, 20 rows of seats available from the stage. It really wasn't a big venue. But behind us, there was probably, like, 4 or 5 rows of seats pretty much empty, where those 40 people standing outside
could have easily fit.
They could have fit inside. Like, and I think they didn't sell those tickets because they belonged to like the press people, but most of the press people were standing up with cameras like on the side of the room. They were not using their seats, so they could have let in those 40 people easily and to sit in there. And so like we walk in, we sit down. I'm like trying not to cry and sort of like wrapping my mind around the fact that like I'm actually inside this event right now. And then a few minutes later, Max Verstappen, Checo Perez, walk into the freaking thing. And I'm like, there's no way. They're literally a couple of meters away from me. Like, right now, like, what in the world? I'm, like, filming. I cannot believe myself. I'm, like, texting my mom and dad, like, I did it. I freaking did it. Yeah, like, the event, I saw a lot of people saying, like, it was awkward. It was awkward because, like, the interviewer didn't speak, like, very good English.
Which in general was the whole thing, the whole GP weekend. I think we were the embarrassment of all the GPs.
Well, she didn't speak very good English, but at the same time, like, most of the interview was in Spanish, and obviously, like, you could tell Max was, like, trying to just figure out what was happening. But, like, I am convinced Chick and I made eye contact several times. Like, I'm telling you, this venue was not big at all, so, like, they for sure looked at every single person in there.
Yeah. At
least once. But, like, I made eye contact with him several times. And then Max Verstappen freaking waved back at me. Which was like the highlight of my thing. Like, and then the thought that I made him smile. No, but genuinely, like, I filmed him like when I waved and he waved back. And I was like, oh my god, this is incredible. And then I was doing everything in my power to be able to ask them questions because they had like a sort of session of like fans asking questions. Unfortunately, it didn't work. But at that point, Chico looked at me so many times when like I was like mega waving my hands, and like my F1 bestie she was also trying to like get my attention. Like, she lifted up my jacket and she was like and I was like, please. But like, no, they ended up like a couple of rows beside me asking the girl there. And then like, yeah, like the event I was over the moon, honestly. Like, I was thankful with absolutely everything. Like, at no point was, like, bummed out because I didn't get picked or because something happened, because I was, like, the fact that I'm in here right now is a blessing and miracle in itself. But, yeah, like, I got reposted by Juan Fosaroli, the commentator for the F1 in Mexico. Yeah, in Spanish. He reposted one of my stories from like the thing that I took. Like I took a bunch of videos, so I ended up posting and tagging him in a couple. He reposted that story. And then like after the whole event, like I end up finding out that Tatiana Calderon was there, and
which is the daughter of the president. No,
dude, Tatiana Calderon is
oh yeah, the driver. Oh, I thought you
driver.
meant the daughter of like the president, the ex-president.
She was never there. I don't know what you're talking about. No, I mean Carlos Slim's son, like Slim Jr. was there. Like he stood like in the row, like at the end of the row. I took a picture of him too. So like what? To be honest, like here's the part where it's like I don't know. My Mexican side
culture.
Of me, like like I had to ask, like everyone was like, oh my god, and I was like, who's that? She's like Slim Jr. And I was like, oh. Then afterwards, like he was the one who handed the qualifying like tire to Max that weekend, but I was like,
cool. Like, you were like really close to him, right?
Yeah,
like closer to him than the drivers.
Yeah, like he was literally like at the end of my row, and the rows were maybe like 10 seats. Like it wasn't that big a row. So like but yeah, like I was having the time of my life, just beyond the moon elated about this happening.
Yeah.
The thing that killed me though, I was one number away from the raffle tickets to get it was either a signed hat by Max and Chico or pit lane passes. Yeah. For Thursday, even. It was like the next day, so it wasn't even when the actual GPs were happening, it's when the press conference things are happening.
Oh, that's better. No?
Yeah, and so I was one freaking ticket away, one number away from winning it, but I was like, I'm telling you, like, we were cheering each other on, like, there was never any, like, vile moments where we were, like, none at all, and I don't know if it's just for my part, because I was genuinely, like, the fact they're in here right now, it's, like, take it, and enjoy it. And yeah, like I couldn't really believe it. It was like only until the ride back to my grandparents' house that like
it hit you.
Yeah, I started crying. I was like, oh my god, like, you just got into an event.
Yeah.
Max and Chico. And that's why I was saying perspectives, because the fact that I was freaking out about the pit stop challenge days before, literally 3 days before, and then my caption was like getting closer to the real deal. Then 3 days later, I'm standing a couple of feet away from Max and Chico. Like, to me, I was like, wow, like life is absolutely crazy. And then to think like literally days later I was gonna be at the Mexican GP, to me I was like, life is insane right now. Like I love life. Like I was literally like in the clouds like the whole month of October, but genuinely like those days the week I was like, my life is just what a blessing right now. I was like, wow. Like I was feeling incredible. I feel like a lot of people picked up on that too, like saying like wow, you look so happy. And I was like, I was genuinely like, I don't think I'd ever felt like that in my life. But like, yeah, like that was insane. Like to me, it was just real. I think the moment where I was like, yes, like you get that like optimistic side of you out because like you pushed and that side of me almost came in a couple of times during that day. But if it wasn't for my grandparents and them pushing so much for me to get in there somehow, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But also like, yeah, I mean, I got back home and ended up eating until 11 p.m. that night. Like the whole day without eating, but I was...
Because the way back took you guys so long, right?
It was disgustingly long. Literally took like 4 hours to get back home.
But yeah, for like a 30-minute like track. Yeah. Which, by the way, like it's 30 minutes by car, but then could have been easily like way less if you guys took public transportation.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was crazy. But like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I was like sharing videos, pictures in all of my social media like the whole day after that. So if you want to see that, there's TikToks, and it's also on my recent posts are basically just F1 and on my Instagram. Yeah. But like, yeah, then yeah, it's just wow, it was crazy. I was over the moon, super happy, and I didn't even feel like going to. It wasn't even because I was tired, but I was like, I know that it's not gonna get better than being into a private event. I didn't even go to like the like stand outside the track on Thursday. Oh yeah. Like partly because I was like, I made my grandparents wait with me the whole day, hours the day before, but like I was also like so satisfied with what I'd gotten the day of arriving in Mexico City. So I was like, it's not gonna get better than this. Of course, Pato decides to go the next day. Yeah. But I was like, yeah, this is wow, like incredible. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna talk about the Mexican GP in another podcast, but I mean, the next podcast is definitely going to be about the Mexican GP, but we're probably going to break it up into 2 blocks, I think, like the practice days and the qualifying, and then one
just talk about the race now, because I think that was like a big event in and of itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was
crazy.
It was an experience, to say the least. And yeah, I mean, Astrid really enjoyed it, which is great for her. But it was a whole other experience for me. I mean, I enjoying things with her, but it was, I realized, I'm nowhere near as like big of a fan as you
Passionate.
are. Yeah, about all
to
of
me,
that.
it's also realizing, like, we can talk more in detail about it later, but like people had made me sort of like afraid about like what my Mexican GP experience was, because for people that I'd mentioned and who had gone, they were like, oh, they like whenever they talked about it, they were like, yeah, it's fun, but like the heat and I don't know what. And I feel like I noticed a lot in that weekend that if you're really, really passionate and an actual F1
you
fan,
don't care.
You really don't feel it.
Yeah.
Like, you actually don't feel it, and it's the most enjoyable experience on earth.
Yeah.
But if you're not into the sport that much, then you're obviously gonna feel that side of it a little bit more. And I feel like that's what happened with my sister, because like my dad was like cheerful. Like, yes, he got tired and stuff, but also because of going back and forth, I feel like that's a big part of it. But like he did love it, and I know me, like I found my true self those days. But yeah, we'll talk about it more later. But thank you so much for listening. Manifest, guys. Believe, have faith. Miracles do happen. But
do it the right way, not the wrong way.
I mean, yeah, I feel like for me it was very much like I had faith. I had so much faith, and I was like, let's get that doubtful side away from you, because everything is possible. Literally. And I was like, you know what, and I feel like a big part of me was like, you know what, you deserve this. So just super happy. I feel like also the fact there wasn't any ill intentions in me wanting this. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so,
that's why I say it like properly.
But yeah, I mean, I hope you guys get to experience something like that with whatever you idolize and whatever you love. Mm-hmm. I honestly do wish, because it's an incredible feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, love you guys. If you want to check out my Instagram, Astrid Moreno with double I on Instagram, and there's a link tree for the rest of my social media on there. So if you want to check out my TikTok and everything, you can find them there.
You can also find us on TikTok at Chubby Chats. We're going to figure out how to get back on it. And for me, you can find me on YouTube at Pamela Moira, Moera. And yeah.
That's it. I love you guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.